Food controls how you feel, it controls your diet, of course, and it controls your overall well-being.
LeRoy Butler, leaping into the kitchen, next on Black Nouveau. Hi, I'm Milton Dockery.
And I'm Faith Colas. Welcome to Black Nouveau. On this edition, former Green Bay Packers safety LeRoy Butler shows us how to cook healthier in the kitchen.
We'll talk about future plans for African World Festival with Board President Mark Wade and preview Enough to Go Around, a new book by Chip Duncan.
But first we look at a unique therapy garden. Research has shown that therapy gardens can help reduce physical pain, encourage social interaction, and help ease emotional pain and grief. That's true for many Milwaukee veterans. Liddy Collins has that story.
This backyard garden, located on Milwaukee's west side, gives veterans meaningful therapy, thus its name, the Organic Therapy Project.
It not only provides the therapy, the working, with your hands for the residents, but it helps us with our overall budget.
The Green Movement spurred this garden that's run by Vets Place Central.
We've been hearing about, green power and a lot of individuals seeking plots of land to grow their own vegetables, to eat healthier. And so we knew we had this small backyard, and we also knew that our residents were looking for different activities to get involved with.
The garden itself actually started 15 years ago with a small side section. This year, a committee of veterans was formed and the Organic Therapy Garden came into existence. The vets erected the beds and gathered the plants.
3 months ago, this was just lawn here. There was nothing else here but lawn. Even these rocks were hidden in under sod for the most part. So these veterans are out here every single day doing something, weeding, maintaining the gardens, as a part of the Organic Therapy Project. And it's a therapy project because it's an adjunct to their other therapy programs that they belong to and work with here at Vets Place Central and at the VA. As you can see, there's several different kinds of peppers, heirloom tomatoes, regular hybrid tomatoes, different squashes and other vine plants, collard greens, cabbage, all the Brussels type vegetables, like cauliflower and broccoli, lettuce. We're actually on our second crop of lettuce right now. We'll be on a third crop here shortly, radish. Just a nice variety of vegetables and some fruits. We have strawberries and raspberries as well.
Onions over there, that couldn't be better. This is all really good. Our tomatoes over there, those are what really get rated.
Even though the garden is for and by the veterans, they have youth volunteers who are learning about gardening.
He taught me about tomatoes and how they grow, and he taught me about how carrots and potatoes and stuff like that grows. And we actually went to an open area in Oak Creek where we saw vast lands of vegetation growing, and we saw some pickles. And
so when you go in the grocery store and you go in the produce area, what do you think about now?
I think about where it comes from. I think about who made it, who gardened it, and how it grew.
The Organic Therapy Project is not only growing food, but teaching our youth the science of how food grows. And then there's the harvest. The harvester here is the cook.
Cook wants something out of the garden like collard greens or any other vegetables, green tomatoes, for fried green tomatoes, cucumbers, squash. She tells him and he comes out here and harvests it.
How does it feel being able to just go shopping right in the backyard?
I love it. It's got the one main price. It's free. Yeah. But it's not free because we put a lot of labor and a lot of hard work into this to get it this way to this day. I mean, it took us a while. I mean, we started this way back in April? Yep. And little by little, to be honest with you, I didn't think we'd go this far. But I cannot believe the produce that has come out of this garden, like the jalapenos, the cayennes, the bell peppers, everything. It's just, I couldn't believe it. I keep coming out here every day and checking it. And I'm the reaper. I come out and pick the stuff. Nobody's allowed to pick anything out of the garden except for me. And I pick it. I know when it's ready, and I take it back down to the kitchen and cook it. I go on the computer, foodnetwork.com, and look up recipes that imply these kind of vegetables, and I throw them into my breakfast. Like this morning we had breakfast pizza. I just made a pizza and had tomatoes and peppers and onions and everything else from the garden here sliced up, threw it in there with some sausage and mozzarella cheese, and baked it in the oven and cooked it up for breakfast. So, and the other morning we had breakfast burritos. All the stuff from the garden, squash, zucchini. This afternoon I'm going to make zucchini bread for breakfast tomorrow morning. Have nice warm zucchini bread.
Veterans who have participated in the OTP or Organic Therapy Project have benefited.
They get a chance of using their hands, seeing something grow, and that's that instant feedback that they get. It takes time for it to grow, but it's not like it's long and it's drawn out. And they're able to see, the greens grow, the tomatoes grow, the onions grow, and so that's a positive feedback. And to know that this, is also, something that's giving back to the organization.
It's been 2 years since Milwaukee's African World Festival graced the shores of Lake Michigan. Joining us to explain what's been happening and what will happen is Mark Wade, president of the festival's board of directors. Mr. Wade, welcome to Black Nouveau, sir. Let's go back and explain what happened 2 years ago and bring us up to date.
Well, I guess the best that I can explain what happened is that the festival was canceled because of financial reasons. 2 years ago when it was canceled, was not actually a board member at the time. So to detail why, actually I did come on the board, right before it got canceled. I was on the board, maybe a month or two before that. Okay. But the reasons why, other than the fact that it was financial, was hard for me to say. Okay. Because I wasn't there for when that building was being built.
Would it be fair to ask you why the event was canceled last year?
Well, basically for the same reasons. I was on the board and we just weren't able to raise enough money to eliminate debt that was already there and to be responsible with other people's money. Had it been a business venture that maybe myself and my brother may have been getting into, we did have enough money to take a chance. But when you do things like African World Festival, you use other people's money. So kind of irresponsible to go into a business and have it undercapitalized. This puts you in a position where you probably, have a better chance or better likelihood of failing.
So it was a financial decision, but most importantly, a smart financial decision not to have it.
I would think so. I think it was smart and responsible not to take people's money and go out on a limb with it saying, I hope, I believe, I pray that things will work well, as opposed to like laying a good foundation to say, well, this basically will ensure that we have a great chance.
I hear you saying in a roundabout way, accountability.
Well, clearly, you have to be accountable. When you get to a place where you want to have somebody to respect your name, respect, what you stand for, and then have some confidence to say that, we can stand with and behind this entity or this person. So, of course, accountability is key. Okay.
How deep in debt was the organization when you became president of the board, and what is its current debt?
Well, it was over $300,000 when I became the president. I'm not exactly positive what the debt is now. We have made substantial payment. We've made arrangements and made substantial. We're current on all the payment arrangements that we have made, and also we just had a fundraiser. Had a gospel fellowship celebration. It was a sold-out event at the Marcus Theater for the performing arts on this past Saturday, so that was 4 days ago. So we haven't actually reconciled everything, so I'm not positive where we are right now. And then what I really try to do is, the people that are on our team are very good at what they do. Okay. So I try to get like Charlotte Saint to speak to all our financial things because she knows exactly.
Okay. You've been holding, as you stated, a number of fundraisers. How is that going? You mentioned the gospel concert that was sold out. Anything else happening?
Well, we've done a couple of different things because our vision says that we can't always just go to people and say, can you, give us. So we had to be.
Well, let me stop you right there. Going to people saying, give me. As the new president of the board, Do you have any safeguards in place that will prevent the mistakes of the past from happening under your leadership?
Yes, sir, we do.
You want to share with our viewing audience?
Well, I think the main thing that you have to do is you just have to decide that, whatever it is that you're going to do, you will take it from an integrous position. And, when it comes down to things like, will we go forward without enough money? We will not. Will we, when we say we'll raise X amount of dollars and we'll put them in a certain place, that money will go where we tell you that it will go. And so, hard to tell somebody you're going to take their money, put it in a place that's not good, and then expect them to give it to you. So if we're going to say what we're going to do and what we do is going to be good, of course that's some of the safeguards that you put in place that you have to stand behind what your word is.
Now, you were in the process of telling us about some additional fundraisers that you may be having on the horizon.
Well, what I was going to say is that we just think that it has to be a twofold process. So some of the things that we do have to be give back things in addition to give us some things. So we started off earlier in the year with a Great Start equals Great Starts equals Brighter Futures Back to School event, in which we had several different breakout sessions for schools, some of which were study time and study skills and time management.
Couple more. I have just a limited amount of more time. Has the economic slump hindered your fundraising?
Of course it has, but we still have to be creative and find ways that we'll be able to seek different sponsorships, different scholarships, and also different grants that will put us in a place, and also have businesses to partner with us, and we'll make sure that we put ourselves in a place that says we are a good brand to partner with.
So I see you remaking the brand.
Well, we're doing a couple different things. We are actually going to have a contest that's going to be coming up for someone to redo our logo. Is raising money the only problem that you have at this time? Well, it's kind of like when you say, well, it is the biggest problem that we have at this point. You have to have the money to buy whatever it is you want before you can start making plans to ride the bike or sit on the couch. You have to get the money to buy it. And so we have to get the money to fund what we're trying to do.
How can citizens contribute?
Well, they can, of course, call our office, which the number is 372-4567, and that's area code 414, or they can go to our website, which is www.africanworldfestival-milwaukee.com.
What are your plans for next year?
Our plans for next year are to go forward with our restructuring plan that we have now, so we'll have a series of events that will go on continually and to be at Meyer Festival grounds the first week of August next year.
What you're saying is the festival will take place in 2010? I'm
confident that it will, but for it to happen, we need the help of our community.
Mr. Wade, thank you for joining us on Black Nouveau, sir.
Milton, thank you so much for having us.
Many of us remember Packer safety LeRoy Butler for creating the Lambeau Leap. Now that he's retired, he's leaping into the kitchen to create healthy meals. Robin Cherry has more.
I grew up in the inner city, and being in a small apartment with 5 kids and your mother, somebody has to take these duties, washing clothes, cooking, and things of that sort. But with me, it was a little different, Robin, because I had a disease called club feet, and I couldn't run and jump like the normal kids. I was in a wheelchair, and I couldn't do a lot of the other stuff. So my mom, one day, she came to me, she said, hey, you want to try to scramble some eggs? I said, well, sure. So I went to doing that. At 9 years old, I was making the bacon and the toast and gradually getting into other things. Until at one point, when I was 10 years old, my mom would give my sister, Vicky, the grocery list, short. And she said, she basically told her, let Mr. Butler, she called me Mr. Butler, let him cook it when you buy it. So she'd sit on the counter and left, everybody got out of the kitchen, and when they come back in an hour, the food was ready. So at 10 years old, I was cooking for 5 or 6 people. So it graduated all the way till now, and I love it. And it controls, food controls how you feel. It controls your diet, of course, and it controls your overall well-being.
We all know you're a former Green Bay Packer, so what did you eat to stay in shape?
That's a good question, because your metabolism is a little different. When I played for 12 years, I was the smallest strong safety in the league, and I wanted to put on some muscle, and I ate a lot of proteins, low carbs. And then I kind of graduated into Southern, because I'm from the South. In the off season, you can eat the macaroni and cheese, the neck bones, the oxtail, but during the season, you eat more healthy stuff, fruits, vegetables, and certain types of food. But since I've been retired, Now you got to watch your weight even more because now diabetes come in, high blood pressure, cholesterol,
Strokes.
and that's why I thought this show would be perfect for that.
Okay. Well, what are you going to cook for us today?
Well, today is going to be very, very fast and very healthy, and we're going to make the overall best salad because it has everything in it that we need. And when you're an African-American male, we skip a lot of stuff. We just get right to the meat.
Yeah.
But today we're going to force men and women to use the right proper things. So what we're going to do is start out with some turkey. We're going to use some turkey, and you can use chicken as well. And I know, to me, I like a grilled chicken salad. I don't necessarily eat a turkey salad, but the turkey, to me, adds the healthy flavor of it. And we're going to mix it with a lot of the fruit enzymes and things of that nature and give you a great taste.
Okay.
So the first thing I like to do, Robin, is the turkey is pretty much already ready. So we're going to brown it so it's quick. Because with my kids, they always talk about making stuff quick.
So LeRoy, do you eat salads a lot? Is that a part of your daily diet?
Not traditionally, but when you want to be healthy, you have to incorporate some kind of green. So that's why we got our salad with some spinach, lettuce, and things of that nature. And the good thing about this particular recipe, I'm going to attempt, well, I will, I'm going to brown the turkey as well as make the salad dressing, kind of a honey mustard type dressing, and it's really fast. So this
is a hot and cold salad.
Yes, absolutely. And the good thing about that is it sends that flavor to your tongue saying, give me more.
And that's what we want.
Right.
So you had a particular health benefit from this salad, correct?
Yes, absolutely, because eating this salad, my cholesterol came down 20 points. I ate it twice a week for give or take a couple months, and I saw it decline. And my doctor, who's a woman, by the way, she thought it was very interesting, and I told her what I was doing. I was putting all the good things together and having a salad, so she thought it was good.
That is good news.
Yes, and the good thing about it, too, is I'm trying something that a lot of people may not want to try, because a lot of people are allergic to certain types of fruits. So you have to get the good fruits that you like, and these are the ones that I like. So, okay.
Have you studied nutrition?
I almost had to. When I played for the Packers, they brought in a nutritionist, and she would tell us what was good for our bodies, and she would also tell us what was bad for us, and we didn't always listen.
Right.
So, add in some peppers, a little pineapple juice, a little honey. There we go.
You have a cookbook coming out, correct?
Absolutely. And I think the good thing about this cookbook is it's a lot of recipes that are really fast, and it's for people who want to cook but who are scared to do it. So if you can follow by each step, it's a gradual process. And after a while, you're not worried about if somebody likes it, because you put love in your pots. So you say, well, I know
there's something
like
to that, cooking with love.
Yes, you got to take your time, and you got to understand that you're putting something in somebody else's body that you will put in yours. So you also have to understand that, food makes people happy. So when you call somebody and say, hey, look, I should call Gilbert or Santana or Brett or Reggie White, say, hey, I'm cooking, they're over.
They're over there.
Yeah, they're coming. So I learned to do something to make people happy, and cooking has a lot to do with that.
In a nutshell, LeRoy, what type of foods would you recommend that people have in their diet who are susceptible to stroke or diabetes or heart disease?
A lot of fruits and vegetables. And that helps with me. So, oh, and guess what? It's ready.
Oh, it's done.
So you want to put this on last because it's a hot and cold salad.
Okay.
So you got your raspberries, got your peaches, okay, strawberries. So very colorful.
Very colorful.
Got your pineapples as well as the juice. Some apples, some pears.
It's getting high.
Yep, there you go. And next, you put the turkey right on top of that, like that.
That looks delicious.
Yep, and the last thing you want to do, Robin, is get you some pineapple juice that's left. Just go right around the sides like that. There you go.
Oh, that looks great, LeRoy.
Pineapple turkey salad.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us today.
To get a copy of this recipe, log on to www.mptv.org and go to the Black Nouveau website. Butler's book is also available at Syndick's Food Markets. Chip Duncan is an award-winning filmmaker and photographer whose cameras have captured the faces of people in some of the most challenging places around the world, including Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Darfur. He joins us now on Black Nouveau. Thanks for joining me, Chip.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Your new book is Enough to Go Around. What prompted it?
Well, I've had the privilege of working in many parts of the world, and in a number of cases in crisis zones or very challenging places. I was asked to document the work of an NGO, Save the Children, in Afghanistan in 2005, and then following that we did a mission with Relief International in 2006 in Pakistan, and then in 2008 in Darfur with Relief International. So what I found was that people kept asking me stories, and one particular friend of mine would take the time to actually look at my photos when I'd get back, and she was very moved by some of the images and said, "What are you doing with this?" And interestingly, in the first two countries, I'd written articles for the journal Sentinel. When I got back from Darfur, they weren't interested, and I thought, well, fine, I'll write a book. So I guess that's the answer, is I just decided to do it.
Now, you're taking pictures of people of color all over the country. How does this tall, skinny white guy get a chance to take such intimate photographs of people?
Well, I tend to be very patient on location. I work well with natural light, and so if I have a photographic specialty, it is natural light. I like working out of doors or indoors in natural light. So for starters, I'm not creating an environment where the subject would necessarily be intimidated. I also do something a lot of photographers internationally might not do, which is I don't change my attire. I don't try to hide the fact that I am a tall, skinny white guy, and a lot of times I'm in cultures where that sticks out. So I don't hide myself in the clothing I'm wearing. I'm a Westerner, I look Western. I tend to show my cameras right up front when I'm asking if I can take a picture. Oftentimes I find that a relationship can develop fairly quickly. And to a certain extent, it comes from patience. And I think sometimes it has to do with intention. I'm generally there for reasons that I consider good reasons, and not trying to take anything from anyone.
What has this experience been like for you, traveling and taking photographs of people of color in these countries?
Well, there's a chapter in the book called Facing Fear, Finding Hope. And I think that chapter really articulates what drives me, which is I tend to, if I feel fear, I ask myself why, and I try to make sure that I can discourage it, because most fear that I've faced in my lifetime has been irrational, not rational. And so I try and put whatever fear I might be experiencing around a place like Afghanistan or Pakistan, I try and put that behind me, and then embrace the lifestyle that I'm there to document. So a lot of times Westerners will go in and think that we have the answers. I try and go in and listen. I'm just trying to reverse the paradigm a lot of times. If they may have solutions that we've never considered, they may have problems that we are unfamiliar with, and the solutions might be things we couldn't imagine because we're not familiar with their circumstances. So every country, though, is different, and I've found that as much research as I do, I'm always prepared and unprepared at the same time.
You're taking pictures of people's faces, up close and personal, versus places or things to tell your story. Why is that?
You know, as a videographer doing documentary work, which is that's the bulk of my career, I found that when I have a motion picture camera in my hand, I'm pretty good at shooting places and capturing the natural world in it, whether there's people there or not. So I've filmed ruins and temples and churches and synagogues and mosques all over the world. But what I've found that I'm enjoying about still photography is the one-on-one. And in video, a lot of times in a documentary, we don't make eye contact with the camera. In fact, we'll edit around a subject who's making eye contact with the camera, where in stills, what I've been enjoying is the process of looking directly into the eyes of the subject. And I find that once the comfort level is there, that it expresses a lot more intimacy. And to a certain extent, I'm looking for beauty. I'm looking for hope. I mean, I don't think it's good for us to be in a position where we're willing to bomb a place or attack a place without understanding the nature of the people that live there and who they are, and putting a human face on them. So I think when you see the cover of the book, for example, that's a woman who was photographed in a clinic, a small medical clinic in a refugee camp in Darfur. So when you think of the genocide, this is who the genocide is being perpetrated against. So, and it doesn't matter which picture you're looking at, they all have a story, and oftentimes a tragic story, but there's still people who, first of all, they're people, we should help them, and then in addition, they're people whose stories matter. And a lot of times we just see the negative side. We see the bombed out piece of artillery or the burned torso or something, and I want to put a human face on it, so we start to think differently about these places.
How can our viewers get a copy of Enough to Go Around?
Well, the book's available. I mean, you could go all the way from our website at duncanentertainment.com to Amazon, but I would hope that people would support a local bookstore here in Milwaukee, preferably an independent bookstore, but any bookstore. And if it's not sitting there when you walk in, just order it. They'll be able to track it down for you.
Thank you for joining us, Chip.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Before we close this week, just a reminder that the 4th Annual Fatherhood Summit will be held on October 9th and 10th at the St. Marcus Lutheran School, 2215 North Palmer Street in Milwaukee. To register, call 414-286-5653.
And here are the names of the winners of the 4 sets of tickets to see Soul Time at the Apollo, now playing at the Milwaukee Rep Stackner Theater. Tickets are courtesy of the Milwaukee Rep.
And that wraps up this edition of Black Nouveau.
Remember, in the coming week, do something to expand your world. Good night.
Good night.